Welcome to the Energy Storage Q&A series. Julie and George here from ATX Energy Storage Division. And today we will be introducing information on the NFPA 855 and what makes it important for customers installing our hybrid supercapacitors. So let's get started. So George, what is NFPA 855?
Well, I'm glad you asked. The NFPA is a standards body. In the world that we live in with batteries and energy storage, there's a governing body that allows certain things to be put in place. So it's the national fire safety standard that governs all installation of energy storage systems. So it's established to help us because we see a lot of change in new technologies. And so the standard was put in place to help guide us through on how to install and what not to install. So it's to help the first responders, it's to help to address any type of risk or layouts or separational distances or ventilation. All these things are tied inside of the spec to help the installation of new technology. So it's important to know what it is and important that it's there for folks to abide by.
Well, thank you for setting the stage on what the NFPA 855 is and the importance of it. So now what you and I always like to say, so what? What does that carve out mean and what does it mean for our customers?
So the original carve out, or the one that was done in 2023, had technologies that were available at the time. And as new technologies come into place, like a hybrid supercapacitor, there really aren't any buckets to put it inside of. So a lot of times we were bucketized under either something generic or something that aligned with lithium ion batteries. And it was sort of unfair because they have different profiles. And what happens is customers are kind of forced to treat the hybrid supercapacitor like a lithium ion, and they're forced to do unnecessary measures for safety that are not necessary, which increases the cost and the complexity, and doesn't really add any benefit. So it's the changeover to the new spec that puts the hybrid supercapacitors in there really helps the end customer minimize the amount of energy spent on installing this new energy.
Now, with the NFPA carve out for hybrid supercapacitors, what does that mean?
It means that there's a lot less that needs to get done. Things like ventilation and explosion proofing and preparing for thermal runaway, preparing for things that the technology doesn't have. And so it allows you to have a much easier install, faster time to market, faster permitting, a much easier product in the end.
Right. And then especially with all of the testing that we have done to be able to get this carve out, it's just something that just didn't happen. We really had to go through a lot of rigorous testing to get this carve out. So now what would happen if we didn't get this carve out? How would we be in the new 2026 code book for the NFPA 855?
The new carve out separates us from lithium ion. Without that carve out, the end customer would have to go through rigorous testing, validation, and permitting because it would be treated like a lithium ion battery or something that it wasn't. And so not having to put fire suppression and spacing and monitoring and all the different construction pieces is what you get with the new carve out and what you didn't have with the old one.
Right, and that helps out with having this carve out. That does help make a huge impact with permitting. I can give a live example. So we have customers today who are currently installing the hybrid supercapacitors, and they have mentioned to us that when they're trying to install lithium ion batteries, it's taking them weeks, if not months, to actually get their permitting in the jurisdictions that they're at. Now with our carve out and with the hazard mitigation analyst that we have, so our HMA document, it's actually now taking days, if not like maybe a week's time. So not only are they getting permits faster, that enables them to get to a shorter path of installation where they now can start installing newer technology much quicker than if we didn't have that carve out with the NFPA 855.
I would imagine they were pretty surprised when they saw that quick turnaround.
Yeah, it was great. They actually, they're the ones that called us and stated, wow, we thought it was going to take at least a quarter for you guys to come in here, get your permitting done and get the installations done. Some of them were done within a day because, again, we have all of the safety parameters that the NFPA 855 would like to have for that carve out. And also the jurisdictions are looking at that and loving the safety component. So they were very pleased with quickly getting that approval for that permitting within those jurisdictions.
And if I may add, the NFPA 855 is a necessary document, right? There's been a lot of new technologies out. A lot of fires have been caused with lithium ion, a lot of dangerous applications, and having a governing body that puts things where they're supposed to be and everyone that should follow it is important. And having us have a carve out really helps us out to let the end customers know that they truly do have a safe product, and this specification is a testament to that.
Right. And it gives like the AHJs confidence in knowing what the technology is. And if something does go awry, they know exactly what's in these cabinets and the safety components of it comparable to other technologies. So, having that safety has been really beneficial for these, with the HMA going to the AHJs to see the safety parameter, getting these quick to install and knowing nothing's going to happen, right? Because of this safety. The whole world has to be on fire, right? In order for us to go into thermal runaway. So now, how does this safety profile of the hybrid supercapacitors differ from our lithium ion batteries?
It differs in that, as I mentioned earlier, the thermal runaway portion of it is really the important piece. As if these technologies go into thermal runaway, it becomes very hazardous to the end location. Fires can't be put out and so forth. And having this technology that is free of all that really is a peace of mind for the end customer.
Right. And I know I touched on it just a little bit, but if you could give us additional information on all of the testing that we have done over the last few years, how did that play in a role in achieving the NFPA carve-out that we have today in the 2026 books?
So new technologies, are necessary for the evolution of energy and so forth. And when we came to market with this product, many people didn't know what it was. They heard a hybrid supercapacitor. It didn't sound like a lead acid battery. It didn't sound like something they're used to. And so we had to go through rigorous testing to show that, yes, it is what we say it is. It is a better next generation technology. We went through drop tests and thermal analysis and burn tests and drill tests, and to showcase that this product truly does not go into thermal runaway, truly does work better in extreme temperatures. And all this testing was required to let folks know that it was truly a superior and safe product. And these tests, these results done by third parties, were used by the NFPA to understand what this technology is and how it can be utilized going forward. So all that testing was necessary to showcase what it really is.
So now to close out, so obviously having this carve out is a huge benefit for the Eureka hybrid supercapacitors and also for our customers to enable approvals quickly, when they're going into permitting, as well as getting them to install much quicker than utilizing the other technologies that they might be considering. Anything else to add before we close it out?
No, I think that's it. The 855 spec isn't widely remembered by a lot of our customers because they just assume that it's being covered, but it's an important document that showcases the true strengths and weaknesses of different technologies, and it sets the boundaries on how technology should be used.
And we always say, right, George, tell us where you might have permitting issues. Like, we want to go there. Let us go talk to those jurisdictions and show you how implementing the hybrid supercapacitors in those locations are going to be very seamless and quick. So we love a good challenge, and we want to take that on for you.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
Bring it on, everyone. Well, thank you again, George, for joining this Q&A series. To learn more about our hybrid supercapacitors and also how the carve-out can help make things very simple when you're doing your installations, visit atx.com. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at any time. Thanks for watching.
Check out previous segments and explore the Eureka product line at atx.com/energy series.